But
I've
you've
just
gone.
always done it on the telephone.
Okay, well, we're top of the hour here, so I'm just going to welcome everyone. I'm just going live now. So welcome everyone to the webinar. It's really great to have you here today. This is Garth Borthasol, as often on these calls. And today I am very excited for the call. And that's my personal theme for it. We do have an actual theme for today. As you know, we do a 7 series topics, and we are on number 7, product training today. And we're specifically focused in on vitamin C. And we have a very special guest, as you know, Carolyn Libby. And so I'm just going to welcome Carolyn and talk a little bit about her, and then we're going to get into it a little bit more. So Carolyn, welcome to our call. I'm very happy and pleased that you're able to join us today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited also. This is a wonderful opportunity to be a benefit.
Well, you're a huge benefit, and often I'm sure you get introduced as Dr. Libby's wife but there's a lot to the story, and we're going to get into it. Carolyn's had her own dramatic story on vitamin C. She's going to tell us a little bit about her work with Dr. Libby. She was right there during a lot of the great discoveries of it, and so she has an inside knowledge. We're going to hear an interview, a part of an interview direct from Dr. Libby that was recorded years ago, of course, and then we're going to come back and challenge you in how to best use this information. So let's get right into it. So Carolyn, let's start with what I just said there. You've had a personal experience on vitamin C, a life-changing experience, as you told me the other day. Can you tell us more about that?
I had a life-giving experience about that. When I was 22, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and over a 10-year period, I was hospitalized several times, 3 times for 30 days in a hospital, into intensive care one time, because the treatment that they continually administered, the standard drugs, were really harmful to me, and they did not help me get well, but they helped me to deteriorate a bit.
So, okay, so for a layman like me, colitis is, or how would you?
Colitis is one of the many itises by name that they've given to disease of the bowel, malfunction of the bowel. It could be colitis or ileitis or Crohn's disease.
Okay, okay.
The name doesn't matter as much as the subject, you know, as to what's happening inside.
Okay, so you started, so tell us what did you start taking some vitamin C, like how did that come about, and then what happened?
That came about because I went to work as a secretary for Dr. Libby, who was really developing protocols and learning astonishing things about vitamin C and sickness and disease and wellness within the human body. And so he told me to take vitamin C, rounded teaspoons of vitamin C 4 times a day. And after a while, I had a relapse, and then he had me detox, which was very, very powerful, and I've been well ever since.
Wow. So that obviously began your connection with Dr. Libby, your relationship with Dr. Libby. Tell us a little bit more about sort of the work in the clinic, what was going on there, a little bit about your background with Dr. Libby as well.
I was his secretary, and he needed a right hand by his side all the time. That turned out to be me, because ultimately, we in a short period of time, we did marry. But he was in the throes of treating substance abusers, any kind of substance, and that was, he had just obtained his patent for intravenous vitamin C for substance abuse, and it was just miraculously astonishing how the vitamin C prevented all kinds of withdrawals and took out the sequelae diseases that go with the end times of substance abusers. You know, their body just deteriorates. So it was all very dramatic and wonderful, and he became a medical scientist. He wanted to to document everything, the before, the during, and the after, because he believed that this was going to revolutionize healthcare all over the world. He believed that, and acted accordingly.
Yeah, and so you saw a lot of things then. You saw a lot of pretty dramatic cases as well. Is there a few stories that you can sort of tell us on?
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
Not about substance abuse, but I can tell you what I witnessed, and it's pretty startling. I selected these because they are startling, they're true.
Mm-hmm.
I was there, and they're brief. So, there was a Vietnam vet who had been poisoned by Agent Orange, and he was demonstrating explosive and violent behavior, deep depression. His wife and children had fled. He was having nightmares and daymares. He met Dr. Libby and was given 3 IVs of vitamin C. His biochemistry normalized. His brain chemistry returned to normal. His behavior returned to normal. He was given a new life. There was a young woman who was scheduled for colon surgery the first thing the next morning. Her fever was spiking. She was in crisis. Diagnosis was Crohn's disease, or probably one of the itises labeled as colon disease. Dr. Libby got permission from her doctor to move her to our unit, and he gave her an intravenous solution of vitamin C called sodium ascorbate. It takes about 4 hours to administer 125 grams. Before morning, her fever disappeared. Her vital signs returned to normal. She had no distress. The crisis was over, and she went home without an operation. Another, late one afternoon in 1996, a family from India came into the office. They brought their grandpa, a small, frail-looking man in his late 70s. He was weak to have 3 of his toes amputated. He was diabetic. He had necrotic toes. That means they're black. Dr. Libby announced to Grandpa that if God wanted his toes to be in a jar, he would have made them that way. God wanted those toes on his feet, so let's get to it. Well, he had to say it like it was to get their attention. That's what he learned. And he was very good at that. He was a character. Well, this was a brief meeting. Dr. Al told him simply to go home and do only 2 things. Drink a teaspoon of vitamin C crystals dissolved in water 4 times every day, and soak his black toes in a solution of vitamin C water 4 times a day, every day. Well, within 12 days, his black toes were pink, and they stayed on his feet.
Wow.
A young woman, a young woman was scheduled for that dramatic gum surgery we hear about so often. Her teeth were loose, and that was the remedy for shrinking gums. Several members of my family have suffered through that procedure. Well, she met Dr. Libby, and he told her to take a teaspoon of vitamin C 4 times a day, plus 4 CalMag-D. And very soon, her teeth tightened up, and her gums returned to healthy pink. No gum surgery.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
So Carolyn, let me ask here. So, and our audience knows this, but I think we always have to say it. I mean, this is obviously a clinical situation. We personally don't diagnose. We're not claiming any cures or anything for vitamin C, but so we know that, and it's very important for us to not misrepresent what we do here. But what's really going on? Like, why is vitamin C having such a dramatic effect on such a dramatic range of things? Like, what's the baseline, I guess, of?
The baseline is vitamin C is not a wonder drug that cures a particular disease. It is instead a substance that participates in almost all of the chemical reactions that take place in our bodies, and it is required for life. Our bodies can fight disease only when we have in our organs and body fluids enough vitamin C to enable our natural protective mechanisms to operate effectively. Vitamin C is unique among all vitamins. It serves as a kind of glue that holds our cells together. It plays a role in every tissue and organ in the body. A deficiency of vitamin C contributes more damage to more places in the body and creates more biochemical chaos than any other single nutrient. Does that help?
Well, yeah. I mean, it sounds like why wouldn't someone be on this product? Right. I mean, that's kind of after hearing all this, that's exactly my layman's conclusion.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. That's the truth. It's such a big story. We can't even do it justice here. However, um, ascorbic acid is not a dangerous subject. It's described in the medical literature as virtually non-toxic. It is inexpensive and harmless, even when ingested in large amounts. When we increase our intake of vitamin C, many healthy things happen within our bodies. One is the increased strength of connective tissue and cell membranes because of the increased amount of the important structural protein collagen that is synthesized. Connective tissue is largely responsible for the strength of bones, teeth, skin, tendons, blood vessel walls, and other parts of the body. Ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, is required for the synthesis of collagen. It also increases the effectiveness of those white blood cells, the marines of the body, leukocytes, which attack bacteria and malignant cells. The rate at which new lymphocyte cells are made significantly increases. We get back to the body as a biochemical plant. The liver is the engine. We are made of something like 70 trillion cells. Vitamin C is part of making cells. It's part of everything we are. And when we're too low in vitamin C, structurally, from the cellular level, we begin to get sick. Sickness and disease can happen.
So, can I tell me if this is true? I mean, this is obviously a clinically proven fact, just as you shared with us, but there's a lot of personal passion behind this too, right, Carolyn? I mean, obviously from your story, from your work in the clinic,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is something
Oh, yeah.
that it's a life calling in many ways, isn't it?
It was directed by the Lord, certainly, that
Mm,
I should meet Dr. Libby and live
yeah,
myself and live to tell the tale. Sure,
okay.
it's a calling. It's life, vitamin C. There is no life in the human body without vitamin C.
Wow. Well,
Absolutely.
that's a pretty powerful statement. So here's what I think we should do. We've got an excerpt from an interview. We're going to play part of it
Hmm.
for the audience right now. And then Carolyn and I are going to come back and talk a little bit more about the importance of sharing this and why it's so important. Um, obviously, Carolyn, you can sort of pick up on any comments that you heard from Dr. Al, as you call him. Excuse me. And
Hmm.
we'll go from there. So let me just cue up the video here.
I'm anxious to hear it.
Yeah. Here we go.
Do you suffer with stress, frequent colds and flu, slow healing, constipation? We have good news. Stay tuned. This is James Elliott, and today I'm pleased to have a visit with Dr. Alfred F. Libby. We're joining together with Dr. Libby, who is one of the true pioneers in the field of orthomolecular medicine. He is an MD and holds 3 doctorates and also an LHD, one of the highest honors given in the field of medicine. This award was given to Dr. Libby at the same time it was given to 2 of his associates, Dr. Irwin Stone and Dr. Linus Pauling, who is a 2-time Nobel Prize winner. He has many published studies and has conducted years of clinical research in biochemistry and is a leading authority on disease, prevention, and nutrition. Dr. Libby, it's nice to be talking with you today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
We're discussing vitamin C with you, which is, I guess, something that you're a recognized expert in and know a great deal about. And just to start us off with, what is the emphasis on vitamin C as you see it? I think a lot of people are thinking that they get vitamin C in their diets and maybe 3 or 4 times the RDA as we understand it to be. And we're talking about taking quite a bit more vitamin C than people may be used to. Our listeners possibly would wonder why they need more. Why do people need more vitamin C?
Well, I think in part because of today's society. There are more pollutants, there are more industrial toxins, pesticides, insecticides, there are more hormones in the food that we eat. There are more reasons for us to become contaminated. But in addition to that, it's the daily stress of living in today's society that creates an inordinate demand on our vitamin C levels, of which we can only store at 5 grams in any 24-hour period. So that's easily and quickly dissipated in today's world that we live in.
When people are taking supplementation, the ordinary kind of supplementation of vitamin C, are they getting anywhere near an adequate amount?
I don't think so. And I think that most experts in the field of nutrition think exactly as I do. It's woefully short and low.
Okay, well, then you just start taking more. Is that the answer to this?
Without question, that is in part the answer. The other thing is to understand who you are and what you face every day in today's society. For an example, you may have a stressful job. Would you require more to handle that stress in that particular instance? The answer is yes. If you were a student and you were constantly faced with the teacher and with exams and so on, would you require more? Absolutely. There's been many documentation that when you take increased vitamin C before you take an exam or before homework or before classroom discussions, etc., thinking becomes more clear. According to most of the people who take these exams, I was able to think and able to recall events that I needed to during this stressful time.
What about during disease times of the year, cold and flu season, if you will? I know that you are an associate of Dr. Linus Pauling, and he wrote the book Vitamin C and the Common Cold, which is still remembered by many people and seems to have a bearing on diseases and germs and fighting off things that we need to eliminate out of our lives.
Without question, vitamin C becomes not only important, it becomes crucial in these times of stress.
How does it function in the role of fighting off diseases?
The virus is very resistant. It has a protein coating surrounding the virus to protect itself from our immune system. But vitamin C will strip the protein coatings to allow the white blood cells to go in and engulf these viruses before they can do any further harm to our system.
I seem to recall, though, that back when Dr. Pauling's work was being talked about a lot, that he was talking about taking a lot of vitamin C to create this kind of a anti-disease environment in the body.
Something has always bothered me. Critics have always said that I've taken vitamin C for a cold or I've taken vitamin C for a flu and it didn't work, so that's not effective. Of course, that's not true. The answer is they didn't know what gram flu that they had.
You're discussing vitamin C in a different form than most people are used to hearing about it, and they're thinking of a tablet or some kind of a capsule with vitamin C. You're talking about level teaspoons of powder, so you must be looking at a different form.
We're looking at the original form that Dr. Pauling developed as sodium ascorbate crystal. It's easy to dissolve in a glass of water, and it beats taking a bunch of 500 milligram tablets. So a level teaspoon's equivalent to 4,000 milligrams, so it works out very nicely that way.
When you're taking that level of vitamin C, if you were taking it in the tablet form, you'd probably be fairly well overwhelmed with the acid and so forth.
If you were taking ascorbic acid, you would without question be overwhelmed. You would have gastric distress, you'd have bloating, you'd have gastric irritation and intestinal irritation. Your body just can't tolerate that much acid at a given time. It's just too much.
So how do you go about offsetting all that acid?
Well, Dr. Pauling developed the idea to use sodium to buffer it. It's just like taking baking soda to offset the ascorbic acid.
The acid then is gone, is that true?
The acid's gone. The whole new concept is developed. There's no irritation to the stomach. There's no bloating. There's no irritation to the intestinal tract. In fact, it's a very pleasant drink.
And so you can take quite a bit of it.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have any of the usual effects you'd normally experience. And so now we're able to see a great deal of vitamin C brought into the body to start the environment of disease fighting, disease prevention, etc., that you couldn't ordinarily get with just some tablets.
Not only that, Dr. Pauling's original formula was somehow lost, misplaced, but now we've developed a new form of vitamin C, which is a non-acidic type, but in the same manner that Dr. Pauling did.
And so it's absorbed quickly into the system, and it begins to do its work right away. You're not waiting for a tablet to dissolve, etc.
We're not waiting for anything. It'll start working from the mouth through the esophagus and into the stomach. It works immediately. It has a wonderful taste to it, and it's highly effective.
Even if a person wanted to just go down to any retail outlet and pick up more vitamin C than they were normally used to taking and started doing that, they would not necessarily be on a better path than just taking a normal amount, would they?
No, and I haven't found anything anywhere under any brand name that will come close to reaching the value that this L-ascorbate C has.
Now, let's run through some of the benefits that this form of vitamin C has and what it can do for someone.
What people don't realize is vitamin C deficiency can create a disease called scurvy, which means death. It has a long and illustrious history about that, the British sailors, and that's where we came up with the word limey, because they fed them limes, which had high doses of vitamin C in it. But what's more significant and what's more prevalent is a condition that Dr. Stone called subclinical scurvy, of which more of us suffer from than we realize, and that creates these other conditions that I think we should talk about now, such as susceptibility to all the different types of conditions, such as a constant cold, constant flu-type symptoms, dental problems such as periodontal disease, bleeding gums, and go on and on. That subclinical scurvy is the predominant underlying cause or factor in these conditions.
So in offsetting the subclinical scurvy with this kind of product, you'd need to take a considerable amount or just a normal maintenance kind of dosage?
No, you'd take a normal maintenance amount. What is considered normal maintenance? And it varies for different people, but I like what Dr. Pauling said, that all the animals in the entire kingdom manufacture their own vitamin C, with the exception of the guinea pig, and of course us humans. But he said if an adult goat will manufacture 10 to 12 grams for its daily use, mankind should be at least as smart as the goat and take that amount as a maintenance level. That would equate to taking 2 level teaspoons a day.
We are going to take a break from our visit with Dr. Libby right now and give you, our listeners, an opportunity to find out how you can get this very special type of vitamin C for yourself. As you can probably tell, this interview is a radio program, but you are hearing it on tape. On the radio, we take this time to give the toll-free number so listeners can call and order. But in this case, we are going to suggest that you contact the person who gave this tape to you, and they will be very happy to assist you in getting L-ascorbate vitamin C crystals. This individual is a member of the Trivita Whey Company, and that indicates that they are concerned about your well-being. The doctor mentioned that your body can benefit in significant ways from larger quantities of vitamin C, but since it is ascorbic acid, that can create difficulty for your digestive system. When working with Dr. Linus Pauling in vitamin C research, they developed a way to neutralize the acid with sodium, solving the acid problem and actually enhancing its delivery to the cells of the body. The most advanced formulation available is L-ascorbate vitamin C crystals from the Trivita Whey Company, and you can get this wonderful product from the person that offered you this tape. The bottle contains 150 grams of rapidly dissolving crystals, and it is nearly tasteless when mixed in a glass of water. A level teaspoon holds 4 grams of vitamin C crystals, so the bottle contains just over 37 servings of that size. That also means that the same level teaspoon holds 4 grams or 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C, equivalent to 8 500 milligram tablets. Some customers tell us they use that amount daily as part of their health and disease prevention regimen. Others say they use considerably more during cold and flu season, or when they're stressed, or if they're using it to support their fight against an illness. Whatever the amount you choose to take, you can be sure you're getting the higher levels of vitamin C without the problems associated with the acid when you use L-ascorbate vitamin C crystals. And now we return to our interview with Alfred F. Libby, M.D.
Okay, I'm going to cut it off there and tease everyone a little bit that, you know,
Well,
there's
that
a
was
lot.
fun.
Yeah, it was fun, I bet, to hear that, Caroline. I want everyone to know there's another probably 15 minutes of interview with Dr. Libby. Gets into more details in it. And I'm going to tell you a little bit. I know a lot of people are writing in right now about they want more, and I want to listen to this more. So I'm going to come back and let you know exactly how to get there. So what we're doing to get this out to you. But I kind of wanted to use that teaser, Caroline, as I just want to tell a personal story here. So about 4 years ago, I was going through some pretty significant health issues. and got through that. And then you talked about God-appointed moments. We're at a galaxy of stars, and there was a last-minute change of tables at the banquet, and I get to sit right next beside this amazing lady called Carolyn Libby. And you told me all about similar to what you shared before, what Dr. Libby had just shared, and it totally dramatically changed my life and the importance of doing it. Just the confidence of knowing what's going on in my body as I take
Yes,
the
yes,
vitamin C has made a world of difference. So
yes.
this information is powerful, but it's more powerful when we share it. And this is kind of a personal mission of yours. You kind of share this on every chance you can. Is that fair enough to say?
That's fair enough to say if the person will listen. I can get started, but not everyone wants to hear it for sure. But if they do,
Hmm.
they have dramatic testimonies. Dr. Al's been gone to heaven 12 years. If he could never imagine the kind of pollution, the state of our food supply today.
Hmm.
He would just be shocked, just shocked. Everyone is in a state of crisis, whether they recognize it or not. So vitamin C factor is even more vital today than it was then,
Hmm.
if that's imaginable. I've had I've had many personal testimonies of people who don't know anything about anything, but if they're willing to take vitamin C 4 times a day for whatever ails them, hepatitis, guy had black legs, lived way down in the heart of Mexico, no medical care, no money anyway. I got to meet with him about 4 hours, and he just believed it. He believed that's how God was going to make him well, and because he had a diagnosis of death with hepatitis and no treatment available. His
Sure.
legs were black, and
Well,
he's just in the pink. He's perfectly healthy because he did it. He actually took it.
he actually took it.
So let
So,
me say,
yeah,
vitamin
go,
C is never harmful. You cannot take too much to harm your body. All you would do is pour it out. But it's not likely that people are going to take too much vitamin C. It's just too critical for life,
hmm,
for all those cells. And you don't diagnose anything. It's not about that. It's biochemistry. Uh, you're not doctoring. You're trying to help people understand that there's something critical that they need to do to protect their vascular system. It's everything. We are made of vitamin C. And so you can just have confidence to tell them if they have something going on, if they have a diagnosis, you do not get involved with their doctor or their meds or anything. First thing I do is ask a person if they're taking medication, because I heard Dr. L say that. If someone is under the care of a physician for a diagnosis, then we must mind our own business. We don't meddle in that. And Dr. Al didn't either. If they were seeing another physician, he had a long conversation about something, but he did not interfere. He declined. So
well said.
we're going to do that also.
Well said.
It's just a matter of doing the most important thing.
Okay,
You're
so
never going to harm them. Sorry.
that's really good to know. So I've got a free gift I want to tell everyone about here in a second, but it's one more question for you, Carolyn, then. So just for clarification, so Trivita sells the tablets, but we're really talking about the crystals, right?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Yes. Yes, the tablets are, Dr. Al would say, so you wake up in the morning taking 4 before you go to bed of the time release, but you cannot possibly take enough vitamin C daily for what we need to do these days to maintain your health. It's the crystals. The crystals.
Okay, so that's the point. So as we talk to people, that's the real product we want to get people on. Is the crystals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I agree.
Absolutely.
And I take it all the time. So here's what we're going to do. In about 5 minutes, an email is going out with a link to the full version of that interview that we started. As I said, there's probably another good 15 minutes um, and of interview there. And so I first of all encourage you guys to listen to the whole interview. But here's the key: is you now have a copy of it, and I challenge you this week to send this interview out to five people who you think would like to hear this information, ask them if they're interested, and then send them the link to this interview, and then follow up and use the gift card as an offer to get them going on ordering product. I love this education. I could sit here and listen for hours to Carolyn and Dr. Libby interviews, and it'd be a great value to me personally. But the real value is in what Carolyn did with me 4 years ago at a banquet in the Trivita conference, and shared life-changing experience with me, and it's changed my life. And I think
Yes.
that's really what we're about, right, Carolyn? That's really why we're trying to do all this, is to.
That's why Michael formed the company Trivita, his passion, his vision. Yes. Also, I just lost my train of thought. Also, the people who you talk to who are involved with some kind of ailment, a chronic thing maybe, if they haven't gotten well by now, chances are what they're doing is not going to make them well. So if they could get an intervention of wellness, wouldn't that be the right thing to do? Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're not going to get better until they do something different. And this is life-giving. Life-giving.
Yeah. Well, we are, as always on these calls, run out of time very quickly, Carolyn. Maybe we'll have you back one time. We can talk more about it, and because there's a lot of information and a lot of stories that I'm sure that you have, you could share with us again.
I'd be happy to do that.
That's
whenever
great.
you wish.
Well, on behalf of everyone, thanks, Carolyn, and watch for this email, share the information, follow up with a gift card offer with them, and I think you'll all get some new customers, and more importantly, help many, many others improve their health and change their life. So thanks, Carolyn. Thanks, Dr. Libby. Thanks, Trivita. Thanks all for listening. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.